Welcome to the 2020 League of Legends Playins tournament. This is the tournament to promote the smaller regions teams to the main event. Playins 2020 is a 2-group format, 5 teams per group. Each team plays every team in their group once. First place in each group goes straight to group stage. 5th place in each group is eliminated. The other teams play best of 5 series against each other for the last 2 spots in groups. This year was a crazy event, and for sure the best play-ins we have had so far. It was competitive and exciting to watch, with both groups ending with some tiebreaker games. Let's start with Group A. We have Team Liquid, North America's 3rd seed, Mad Lions, Europe's 4th seed, with the other 3 going straight to the group stage, Legacy Esports, the only Australian team in the tournament, Parappa Supermassive, number 1 from the Turkish League, and INTZ returning to Worlds once again as Brazil's number 1 seed. The very first game of Worlds was Mad Lions versus INTZ. It was actually one of the highlights this year of the play-in stage, with some funny plays and quite a good game. The game started off with INTZ's top laner, Tay, making a terrible misplay top lane, using his TP on a ward in lane. Instead of getting a kill, missing out on their first blood. This was a close game, reminded me a lot of watching Tyler Wan try and learn top lane, playing Urgot, where he's trying to 1v9, but Tay, in this game, ended up getting a ton of kills, but made some mistakes with his build, and ended up not being able to carry the game. Mad Lions win some good team fights, and end the game there, going up 1-0. Our second game of Worlds was Legacy versus INTZ, Australia versus Brazil. INTZ playing right away after their first defeat. This game was mostly about Legacy's AD carry Raze on Tristana, and his ability to dodge Bard ultimate, and constantly use his W in every single team fight, whether it was a good idea or not. He had some good moments and some bad moments, but they do come out ahead, and INTZ dropped down 0-2, with Legacy getting their first win. Our third game in this group was EU versus NA, Team Liquid versus Mad. This was a game where Mad made quite a few mistakes. Humanoid was missing a lot of his skill shots. Impact was having a great performance top lane on Mordekaiser. He got a solo kill and proceeded to use his advantage to basically carry the game. Mad had a questionable draft with Shadow going on Eve, which he didn't seem to be able to play very well, and that just meant that Team Liquid were more comfortable and ended up winning that game. That was all for the first day, so now we're coming into the second day of the groups. INTZ versus Parappa Supermassive. We had Supermassive pick Shen and Hecarim, and use the combo to devastating effect. Even in the first fight, we had a Shen Hecarim ultimate combo. Kikau is known for his carry potential, and Armut on Shen showed that he was one of the best top laners in the play-in stage starting from this game.
Thinking about diving there, oh, the E missed, but it doesn't matter, they can still go for him.
Trying to read the Duke, here's the TP though, Armut with the taunt though, he's trying to live, he's in a literal 1v5, and he gets a kill! He's gonna get another kill! He's an absolute madman with the Titanic Hydra!
Armut's got a 1v5 double kill under tower, keeping his cool and outplaying the enemies, ending with Supermassive going up another game, and INTZ falling down to 0-3. Our next game of the day was Supermassive again versus Mad Lions. This was quite an even game, with Mad getting some advantages in the early game, but then one catch from Supermassive support Snowflower meant the Mad Lions lose the fight immediately, but still try and continue to outplay, but they end up losing that, and they lose Baron. Leona gets another great engage later in the game, with a good Wukong knockup, leading to a 10k gold lead, and Supermassive ending that game. The final game of that day was Team Liquid versus Legacy, which was an absolute stomp by Team Liquid. As Licorice always says, a wildcard versus a major region is meant to look like this game, but at least we did get some good memes out of it.
Oh, they're laughing at us. They're laughing at us. They're bullying us. It's like school again. Why are they laughing? Are we a joke? Is this what we are? We're clowns to you.
On to the final day for Group A, starting off with a big game, Supermassive versus Team Liquid. Team Liquid bring out their Shen and Twitch combo, where you can use Shen ultimate on the Twitch while he's in stealth, for tactical to get some good picks. They use this play over and over again to win the game, with Jensen even going godlike, picking up some of his performances from Chinese solo queue. The next game, Mad Lions versus Legacy, a hard carry by Legacy's Ornn, Humanoid getting caught in every single fight, not able to DPS in any of them, showing the true power of Ornn and how he's going to be such a big pick for the rest of Playins and Worlds. At this point, the group is kind of looking wrapped up. TL are 3-0, clearly in first place, and only have the 0-3 team to play against, who are looking clearly ready to be eliminated. TL are looking to go straight to group stage with this next game, INTZ versus Team Liquid. INTZ start this game off well, getting some good leads on their top lane, which does end up giving them a good lead in mid-game where they can win some fights, and INTZ actually do take this game over Team Liquid. INTZ are now 1-3, and so are Mad Lions, so this forces a tiebreaker for the elimination later in the day. But Team Liquid should still be first, right? Well, the final game before then is Legacy versus Supermassive. Whichever team wins this game will then play in a first place tiebreaker against Team Liquid for that spot in group stage. Legacy have a crazy performance in this game, beating Supermassive, forcing a tiebreaker against Team Liquid. The first tiebreaker of the day was Mad versus INTZ. Whichever team lost this game would actually be the first team eliminated in Worlds 2020, and whoever won would go on to 4th place to play in the best of 5 series to get a spot in groups. INTZ get an early lead, but then make some mistakes in mid-game, overextending slightly. Mad punish this, and do manage to win some teamfights, come back into the game, and take the victory. INTZ are the first team eliminated from Worlds. Now we just have first place to fight for, between Team Liquid and Legacy. In this game, once again, it's a stomp for Team Liquid. Legacy simply couldn't handle the pressure from Team Liquid, and Team Liquid do secure their place in the group stage. Meanwhile, Legacy now have to go to the best of 5s to fight out for their spot. We're now going to talk about Group B, and then we'll go back to the playoff spots afterwards. So Group B, we have the Chinese 4th seed, LGD Gaming, currently heavy favourites to get first place and go straight to groups. PSG Talon, the number 2 PCS representative from Hong Kong and Taiwan. They're starting off the play-ins with 3 temporary substitutes due to COVID, so a big question mark for how they will do. Will they be able to use these substitutes and actually get any wins, or will they just fall flat as they haven't had enough time to practice? V3 Esports are your only Japanese representative for the tournament. Unicorns of Love are the next team in Group B, coming from the CIS with a majority Russian lineup. And finally, Rainbow 7 are your Latin American team with players from Argentina, Chile and Mexico. This group, in a way, seems already sorted out, with the Chinese team having high expectations after beating FPX and IG to get the spot at Worlds, with PSG Talon likely not being able to perform due to having substitutes and missing their players, which helped them win the league. But this tournament has taught us that expectations already cannot be trusted. Even in the first game, PSG versus Rainbow 7, Kong Yue, the jungle substitute for PSG, absolutely pops off on Echo, starting off the game with a good snowball, carrying his lead through, carrying in fights, doing a ton of damage, and basically winning the game for PSG, going up 1-0. Our next game, once again, LGD versus PSG. If PSG win this game, then they'll have upset 2 teams already with their substitutes. It's an even game for ages, and then suddenly LGD start losing fights to Ornn and Orianna, getting some good combos, and slowly getting outplayed, even with Longxing playing very well top lane. It's all about Baron fights, and one of their substitutes, D, the AD carry, never dying in the fights, which ends with a PSG win, 2-0 in the group already. That was it for the first day of this group, with some quite surprising results. No one expected PSG to come in playing this well, and LGD to not be able to get this win. Going on to the second day, we started off with Rainbow 7 versus V3, the Japanese team. Rainbow 7 engage all the fights onto the support set, and they end up getting chased down in every single one. V3 are not learning from their mistakes, and will that become a pattern for later games? Rainbow 7 take this win, get their first one in the group. Next, V3 have to play again versus Unicorns of Love. Unicorns of Love end up picking AD carry Orianna. They predict a level 1 and TP into it. This is from Sheepy. In the interview after the game, he said they predicted this. V3 also tried their lane swap tactic, which worked well in their playoff games, but again, Unicorns of Love expected this. They completely abuse the Camille Nautilus lane that they've picked to kill the AD carry support on the other team over and over again. After this point, the Camille and the Kassadin that Unicorns of Love have mid are just unstoppable, and they carry the game. A very poor start for V3, and a good start for Unicorns of Love, showing their drafting power. Next, we have LGD versus Rainbow 7. Both teams that have already lost have no wins yet. LGD makes some good early game plays, but they do lose early dragons in exchange. There's a big dragon fight from Rainbow 7, getting them the 3rd dragon. For the 4th dragon, Rainbow 7's jungler gets killed. Rainbow 7 decide to risk the 4v5.
Too greedy as the call of Portugal comes down. Kramer has Splash. Peanuts in the back of the pit. He dives forward the shot. Huge shockwave! He gets it! Lisa secures the dragon in the ocean soul alongside, and now Mark is dead. And you can see the Hexagon momentum coming up from Longxing. But Rainbow 7 from the Liga Latino America are turning it around on the LPL's 4th seed. Kramer doing what he can, but Longxing's already fallen. Peanuts down. GA with the stun guard across the wall. GA just about surviving. Alone forward.
And they win it, getting the Dragon Soul. They get Baron, they get Elder Dragon, and they end the game. LGD down 0-2. Unicorns of Love, PSG was the next game. Unicorns of Love pick Swain AD carry, which I actually have a video about on my channel, you should check out. There's not much early action in this game, a Herald's fight that has not much effect on it. The first big fight is at Dragon. Unicorns of Love win and go to Baron. They take another fight at the Baron, they get a big gold lead, and they win the game. PSG 2-1, Unicorns of Love 2-0. This group is already becoming quite unexpected. The final day of this group starts off with V3 LGD. LGD actually get their first win here. They start with a very big 5k gold lead. from early plates and an early fight. Once again, Ornn wins a fight by himself, going to be a huge pick for team fighting this Worlds. They win some more fights, they get Baron, and they end when they get a pick on Renekton. This puts V3 0-3 LGD 1-2, so looking slightly better on this day. Maybe LGD are coming back. Rainbow 7 versus Unicorns of Love is next, with a solo Q-esque counter gank by Rainbow 7 and an overextension by Unicorns of Love. The jungler gives a 5k gold lead at 13 minutes. Unicorns of Love just fall way too far behind, and Rainbow 7 are able to win every fight and end the game. Our next game, PSG versus V3, Uniboy dominates mid and gets a solo kill. There's a scrappy fight bot lane, PSG do win in the end, and some more fighting that's very clean by PSG move them to 3-1, putting them in first place, ready to take the spot in groups in a shocking result. The final regular game, Unicorns of Love versus LGD. If Unicorns of Love win, they play for first place and groups with a 3-1 record. If LGD lose, they play to not get eliminated. So the game starts with LGD getting 2 solo kills in each solo lane. Gadget on Twitch starts to get some free kills, reaching 4-0 at 15 minutes. He gets some solo kills on the mid and bot laner, one after another. Gadget, however, gets caught in a fight, but Ananasic on Nidalee makes a huge play, killing LGD's AD carry right up in a fight, making it even. They come back in the fight, and Unicorns of Love take it. Next, Twitch gets a triple kill, Infernal Soul, they get a Baron, they end the game. LGD 1-3, Unicorns of Love 3-1. We're gonna have 2 more tiebreaker games.
He goes flat! The flash away! Go, get your Twitch rat!
The first place tiebreaker is played first, Unicorns of Love versus PSG. Unicorns of Love get a lead with a good early game from Ananasic. They overreach in a fight at 25 minutes, leading to shutdowns grabbed by PSG. PSG turn it immediately into a Baron, evening up the gold. An insane engage by Kaiwing and Kongyue lets PSG end the game after one fight and win the group. PSG grab first with their subs, and UOL are forced to go to best of 5s. Next time we see PSG, they'll be back with their normal roster without Kongyue or their other sub, so it'll be a question mark how they're going to perform, but they've made it to group stage, which is very good. And now we still have the tiebreaker for the elimination match between LGD and V3. China's 4 seed, who are supposed to be winning this group easily, and the Japanese team, who's supposed to have quite low expectations because Japan's never done that well at Worlds, but they could take out the Chinese 4 seed right here. V3 get quite a rough draft for the final game, needing to win the game as soon as possible before getting outscaled. Early fights go to LGD, making it even worse for V3. LGD at this point are seeming to have regained some of their form from the LPL, getting a 5k gold lead. LGD take a dragon fight and grab a triple kill for Jax, pretty much ending the game, with LGD's lead opening up to 8k. V3 take a final fight after the Baron, but LGD play it safe. They grab some inhibs, kill a second Baron, which lets them end the game straight away. LGD save their tournament lives, moves on to the best of 5s. V3 are the second team eliminated from Worlds. Now for the best of 5 series. We've first got Rainbow 7 versus LGD. Game 1 started off with Rainbow 7 getting some good early skirmishes, picking up some kills and a dragon. From then on, LGD dominated the game, catching Jose Diodo for a first fight win, and getting second Rift Herald. Rainbow 7 are forced to answer LGD's plays as they win fights and get Baron. Final fight in Rainbow 7 bot jungle, and LGD end the game. Game 2 was a bit of a mess, with LGD getting Infernal Soul at 22 minutes. Rainbow 7 had no answers once again and slowly lost every fight. For Game 3, Rainbow 7 end up picking Kayle top with a scaling mid and AD carry, but then they still decide to take mid-game fights, which they've been losing all series. Again, LGD win the fight, with Longxing being the unkillable frontline as always, snowballing this into a Baron and ending once again after a top lane fight. LGD simply outmatched Rainbow 7 in drafts and also in game. Peanut has finally discovered a jungler he can actually win on. He got Kindred all 3 games, and hopefully teams will start taking that away from him. Alone in the mid lane was destroyed by Xie in pretty much every game, having no impact on the series, even on Azir or Ariana in games 2 and 3. Our second best of 5 series, Supermassive versus Mad, was a very strange series, where Mad had a slight macro edge that won them a couple of games. Many mistakes made by both teams ended up with a 2-2 scoreline. This top lane fight sums up all of the games, with Supermassive making some suboptimal plays and Mad being unable to punish them, both teams coming out close to even, with Supermassive having a slight advantage in the end. The 5th game was slow until 15 minutes, where Humanoid fails to flash a Malphite ult, instantly losing a fight, in which Mad extend, losing 4 more players, dropping 4k gold. From this point, Caitlyn is 3-0 and unkillable. Mad are too far behind to farm their carries, but both teams still make some mechanical mistakes to lose fights, with Mad even losing a 5v3 at Dragon. Both teams lose a couple of fights, but Supermassive come out on top, Caitlyn becoming too much for Mad to deal with. A good Malphite ult ends the game, and Mad Lions are eliminated from Worlds. Supermassive and LGD advance onto the next stage of playoffs, where they'll play against the other two teams for the final 2 spots in groups. The first of those is Legacy, the Australian team, versus LGD. The boys from OCE end their run here, with LGD outclassing Legacy very similarly to how Team Liquid had earlier in the tournament. Legacy had some good moments, an alright early game in Game 1, and keeping Game 2 even all the way to the end, but falling short and putting LGD 1 game away from groups after GA hits late game Kassadin and wins a 4v5 at Baron in Game 2. Game 3 ends in 24 minutes for LGD, kind of a bit of a stomp. Legacy should not be ashamed of how they've done this Worlds. They've done the best an Australian team has ever done, making it 1 game away from getting to groups through tiebreakers, and then 1 series away from getting second place in the group. They did well. LGD just simply picked up their performance, and by this point were reaching back to their normal power level in China, seemingly adapting to the World's meta and finding some ways they can win. LGD are the next team, going straight to group stage. Our final playoff game is UOL versus Supermassive. UOL had the better players, and thus much easier time drafting in this series. Supermassive were beaten in Game 1, even after getting a Malphite counterpick into Twitch. Game 2, again, is won by a great draft by Unicorns of Love, as well as Boss showing Armut who the best top laner is in Playins once and for all. Kassadin for Unicorns of Love grabs 3 kills at 10 minutes, and from that point, Supermassive cannot stop him. In Game 3, Unicorns of Love picks Vayne mid into a tank mid and tank top from Supermassive, a great counter for set mid. From here, Supermassive need to dominate the early game before Vayne and Jhin gets their items, but they don't manage to do it, so they get outscaled quickly in fights, lacking damage to even kill the Jhin. Vayne and Jhin scale up while Supermassive continue to not fight together, which lets the AD carries run around, freely DPSing. Unicorns of Love close the game out with a Baron fight and a Baron, running into the base and securing their spot in the group stage. The Playins teams were added to the group stage draw, with Team Liquid going to Group A, PSG Talon going to Group B, where they'll have all of their main players back finally. LGD go to Group C, and Unicorns of Love slot into Group D. After seeing all these teams in Playins, Team Liquid are looking the most consistent and should be able to put up a fight in Group A. PSG Talon are an unknown once again, with their new players returning. After the subs played a vital role in carrying the team this far, they're now gone, so who knows how they're going to do. LGD seem to be regaining some power, but are still struggling with champion diversity, especially top, always needing a tank, Peanuts only really having Kindred or Graves, who's been playing consistently well, and GA having most success on his Twisted Fate, with carries being a bit of a 50-50. There's not much time for LGD to prepare for groups, so again, they're a bit of a question mark. Finally, Unicorns of Love are coming into Group D hot off their 3-0 against Supermassive, and always should have some innovative drafts that could even get some wins against tournament favourite Top Esports. Thanks so much for watching, subscribe if you enjoyed, and let me know in the comments if you want to see any more videos like this for the rest of Worlds.